morning, right now.
Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day. I am alright.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to the white light.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
It's crazy evil.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the morning dump. You guys are my little ladybugs, as Hustle Bones just said. Good morning, good morning. It's, what is today? Today is Wednesday, July 2nd. This is the morning dump. I'm your host, Jose Galison. We have some stuff to get through. Talk about a little bit of Alligator Alcatraz. Talking about the AI overlords getting a little bit carried away with themselves. And I figured we probably start the show off with a little bit, as we've been lately, like a little fun video or something. And I figured we'd do Alex Jones today, kind of warning us about this upcoming 4th of July and what to be concerned about. False flags incoming, brother. But before we get into that, we have some breaking news. Here you go. Tim Pool posted, I don't even know why I said it. Here's the original tweet, though. I just happened to find this. It popped up on my timeline as I was setting up. The Tim Pool, I guess, quote tweeted. But either way, I don't know who this Jacob Wheeler guy is. But either way, the main point here, New York City jury found Sean Diddy Combs not guilty on racketeering conspiracy charge. So now I don't recall. Maybe you guys may have been following this better than I would. I may have to talk to Austin about this later or look up something. I can't remember if he was looking at other charges. So what the slew of charges Diddy was looking at, but we are seeing, at least this is reporting so far. Although it's a little bit kind of wild. This dude has 15 likes, even though he got quote tweeted by something weird going on here. Or maybe Twitter's just being glitchy. It was acting up earlier. I was just saying something about that metrics doesn't look right because this is pretty huge news. But either way, according to this guy, I don't know. Maybe, like I said, this is just some Jacob Wheeler, just a Fox News assignment desk. Okay, I don't know. So there's a little bit more credibility. This is the only place I've seen it. So I haven't been on Twitter long, so I don't know. Bear that. So either way, I have a feeling we'll probably talk about this more tomorrow. But just for now, that's what we have. So I don't know if any of you guys in the chat know what the deal is with the charges, or if you guys want to look it up real quick and let the rest of the audience know. Let me know. I will bring it up. But yeah, that's kind of wild. They're just gonna let that one slide maybe. But let's get into the Alex Jones clip, like I told you. Let's watch this together and see what old AJ has to say. I'm not quite sure if he's going false flag angle or if he's going Iranian sleeper cell angle or both. I could see him play both here. Let's find out.
Let me introduce you to the National Blueprint for Biodefense. This group since 2014, and it simply changed its name from the 2014 group that Governor Ridge, the head of Homeland Security, set up to carry out the Ford, Carnegie, Rockefeller, CIA, John Hopkins planning group that's done all the other planning for the Disease X rollouts. So this group, funded by the big NGOs, by USAID, by Bill Gates, it's all listed, had this drill a year ago with tens of thousands of people in a tabletop exercise and all these big pharma heads of a bio attack linked to the Russians and the Chinese that is released on July 4th, 2025. You need to go look this up. You need to go look up the group. You need to look it up. I mean, this is the original core group with the plan, Governor Ridge. It's all the same parties, all the same groups. And this is bad. Real bad. They're not going to give up. And it's going to be information that's going to expose them. And, you know, the COVID virus they released was real, did kill a lot of people, nothing compared to the shot. But everything I've seen, you've seen Gates giggling, oh, the next thing will be much worse. Yeah. And he also keeps saying it's going to target children, and so is Hotez. So just remember all of that when this comes out, whatever it's going to be. And it's all about the martial law, all about controlling the media, and all about blaming the government for...
I'm just going to go ahead and, we got a minute left, and then we'll watch the rest. But I'm just going to go ahead and jump ahead of it. Like, I don't know, maybe, sure. I mean, part of the issue here with this stuff is the panic. So I think key thing is here, just, I don't know, looking back now, I guess if they do try to go scare the people with some health thing, whether it's real or not, even if it is real, as he just said there, like, I don't know to what degree you guys believe in the truth of COVID or how bad it was or what, but at the end of the day, like, the best thing anyone could have done for COVID was get healthy. And I would surmise if there is any sort of, biological whatever the fuck coming our way, there is anything, coming to do with the body. I mean, really, there's what can you do aside from being healthy? So, I mean, also, and then just throw in a big old heaping spoon of doubt. Like, I very much doubt this. And even if there is some sort of some sort of whatever the fuck that gets released, it's like, I mean, I also then add the doubt of, like, I doubt that this is even going to be bad or whatever. I mean, obviously, you should always, but that's why you always should be being healthy. Like, that is a protective measure. So it's if you are someone who's concerned about shit like this and you're also a fat fuck, I don't know, it doesn't really make much sense.
Missing it. This is real bad. Real bad. Real bad. Our failure to rapidly identify the diseases in people, our failure to rapidly identify and recognize the occurrence in livestock. Is there going to be some weaponized bird flu about the release? Our failure to achieve early...
I mean, on that note, we did just have the whole chicken thing. I don't even know what the current status is with the whole chicken thing, where they were calling the chickens over the bird flu or whatever. So, I don't know. That's out there. So they kind of got that little bit of terror seeded out there. So maybe they could build off that little gem. I don't know.
Detection of the biological agent and the failure to identify the source of the exposure in a timely way. Our failure to conduct sufficient biological intelligence activities to indicate an immediate attack. Oh, Trump cut the funding for the... where they have fake PCR tests to say the cows and chickens are sick, so they kill them. They're not.
My thing is, I don't even really think... I mean, I don't know. I'm no fucking doctor. I just don't even really know if they can really make things that are, like, super lethal and then also super spreadable. And then also, I guess there's a component of, like, if you are dastardly people behind it, do you really also want to make it that deadly and that... Like, I don't know, do you want it to go that rampant? I don't know. Usually there's a trade-off. So when you see things like, from my experience, you see, like, remember, Ebola was always a big scare, but it'd be like, some dude would, like, die quick as shit, and they'd be like, dude had Ebola. And that'd be like, I mean, yeah, it's awful, it's crazy, but it didn't spread like crazy. It was very unstable, essentially. But then the stable things are usually going to be things like the flu. That's kind of like, unless you're in really poor health, not a big deal. So I don't. That's also what's come. Like I don't know. They would for like if this is. I don't find that the idea of that we're gonna push through some scam-demic again. After pulling it off the last time. Essentially, the idea of like a fake flu or a not that bad, depending on how you want to look at it. Because I mean, I don't know. COVID wasn't that bad, but I know it'd have to be worse, but even then, I guess I don't know the biology there. I struggle to believe it could really be that much worse to where it would really, I don't know, offset the hesitation that most people would have to fall into that shit all over again. I mean, don't get me wrong, the boomer cons will fall for all sorts of shit, but I struggle to believe they'll fall for this song and dance again. I get the idea, implication seems to be, but oh no, this one's like really going to fuck people up, and you're like, maybe. I mean, if it does really fuck people up, then I think it probably won't spread as well. And vice versa. If it spreads really well, then I don't think it'll kill people as well. So, I don't know. It just is a doubt. This seems like gay. So,
our failure to eliminate the vulnerabilities revealed during COVID-19. Yeah, this is like, you didn't let us set up a medical dictatorship. That's why this happened. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he's discredited. Oh, he didn't. And
as I said, whereas Alex, this is actually kind of the third position. This is just shadowy government doing, they're going to do the COVID again. Meanwhile, everyone else is discussing whether we're going to have Iranian sleeper cells or we're having false flags, which, I mean, to be fair to Alex, maybe he's had that discussion elsewhere and I just haven't seen it. It just seems kind of, I don't know, whatever this is. Maybe I'm wrong, but...
I mean, the whole thing's right there. They said they'd get Trump with a new pandemic. They giggled and laughed. And here it is. This is...
Doubt. I don't know. We'll see. Real quick, I do want to give a big old thank you to Doctory420. As soon as I can find the tab, I had it up. Here we go. God damn it. We have apparently Diddy found guilty on transportation for prostitution, not guilty on RICO and sex trafficking. So this is more specific. So he was found guilty for the transportation, I guess, is the thing here. So I guess there was some truth to that tweet. So here we go. Sean Diddy Combs was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution and not guilty on all other counts by a federal jury on Wednesday. So it sounds like they got him with some like lame-ass charge, count of transportation to engage in prostitution. So that's not even really doesn't even sound like really like trafficking really or anything. So that's like just you. If anything, that sounds like something you would get if you were a John, is the charge. It sounds like if you were going, you somehow found out you were going from one place to another to engage in prostitution, whether buying or selling. That sounds like what that charge would be. This comes after the jury said on Tuesday evening that it had reached a verdict on counts 2 through 5, but were hung up on the first count. Here is Combs is charged with 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Count 1 is racketeering, which counts, while counts 2 through 5 are the sex trafficking and transportation charges. The first count carries most severe, with the maximum sentence being life in prison. The sex trafficking counts carry a 15-year sentence minimum, while the transportation counts carry a maximum of 10 years in prison. All right, Diddy's probably going to do like a year in prison. That's what we're seeing here. That's what it sounds like to me, if I had to guess. So... yeah, here's a little video. I guess we can watch that in a second. Deliberations resumed on Wednesday morning, and just before 10 a.m., the jury returned a note to Judge Aaron Subramanian, man, that's a fun name, stating, "We have reached a verdict on all counts. The defense requested that Combs be allowed to walk free now that he has been found not guilty of the sex trafficking charges in the RICO count. The defense said that his family could sign a bond. Prosecution said that Combs should not be released until it's determined that he's not likely to flee or be a danger." Let's see if there's anything else in here. Okay, let's watch this little video, see if there's anything. Who knows? Maybe there's something worthwhile from here.
The first verdict on count 1, racketeering conspiracy. How do you find the defendant not guilty? And so...
oh, whatever. She's just reading them off. I don't care what she has to say. All right. Yeah. Well, that's something. Breaking. So you guys got some breaking news on the show today. I mean, I guess I didn't necessarily break it, but it came out basically as it was being broke. So interesting stuff. Let's roll through the chat. Say our good mornings. All that good stuff. What's up, everybody? Looks like there's a broadcast issue on X. Well, fuck. What a bummer. It is what it is. I don't know, showing I got people watching at least here, so I don't know. X was being screwy this morning. It is what it is. So Doctory says, good morning, Doctory. Good morning, JMS. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, aggressively agreeing. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, rootless redneck. When did Todd Hagopian get a spot on Infowars, right? What's more iconic, the Alex Jones sigh gasp or Tucker Carlson's haughty giggle? I'd say the giggle probably. Probably the giggle. Good morning, Ella James. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Eddie Grimm. Good morning, Stinky Sock. Good morning, Qbert. Good morning, Jasper. Good morning, OP Jeff. Good morning, Hustle Bones. Good morning, Romulix. And then, here we go. Dr. says, virus can't be both super contagious and deadly. This is why they haven't been able to crack the targeted bioweapon case. They rapidly go wild. Exactly. This is just me completely surmising. So it's like, that's kind of, I don't buy it. It just seems like this seems not, doesn't seem legit. Here's aggressively agreeing. So both rings are likely all tied to CIA Mossad. I mean, anything to keep Lockheed Martin in business. If a Comey is involved, that's like bright flashing lights pointed to MIC, Military Industrial Complex, for the people who don't get that acronym. But for those who aren't aware, James Comey's daughter, I believe, was one of the attorneys for the prosecution, I believe. So, wild stuff. Romulix here saying, also, if they release a deadly thing, they can get themselves killed. Unlikely they have a magic bulletproof vaccine in secret, too. Exactly. Which is what I was kind of getting at with, like, if you make it too unstable, like, you can't really control it. Good morning, Nevsky. Good morning. This is why the whole bioweapon thing is always going to be silly on a national scale. Locally, you might get got if you're lucky. Yeah, it just seems like all they really can do is pull off a scare. So really the reaction is more where it's at. So if you're like, oh my God, if you are like buying into, they're going to make the super secret weapon and kill us all, then I don't know. I think if anything, you're feeding into it, sort of. So yeah. Scrolling through. All this did was give him street cred with a pervert class. I'm assuming referring to Diddy. Yeah, it literally looks like not much has happened to this fella at all, for sure. I mean, he might even get time served. Like, I don't know how long this trial's been going on, but a lot of times it's pretty common that a lot of people will get like time served. So he's looking at charges that probably carry years. I said a maximum of 10. I guess he did get hit with 2 counts, and I think I don't know if when they said maximum of 10, they mean combined maximum of 10 of individually maximum of 10. But either way, I doubt they would get a full 10 because I'm pretty sure, like I said, the charge literally is transportation. It's weird that it carries a maximum of 10 because it's like, really, you're going to slap someone with 10 years for what is essentially the transportation to buy or sell pussy, basically. So I don't know. Good morning, Rise to Liberty. Good morning, everybody. All right, let's get into the next thing. Let's get into some foreign policy, fellas. Let's go. Trump said U.S. discussed idea of a 60-day Gaza ceasefire deal with Israeli officials. Israel is refusing to commit to a permanent truce, although they're framing this kind of as like, it's up to Hamas now. But let's go through this together. This Trump said in a post on Truth Social on Tuesday that his representatives met with Israeli officials and discussed the idea of a potential 60-day Gaza ceasefire deal, a proposal that Hamas is unlikely to accept without an upfront commitment to a permanent truce. The post came after Axios reported that U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Vice President J.D. Vance were expected to meet with Ron Dermer, Israel's Minister of Strategic Affairs and close ally of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. My representatives had a long and productive meeting with the Israelis today on Gaza. Israel has agreed to the necessary conditions to finalize the 60-day ceasefire, during which time we will work with all parties to end the war, Trump wrote on Truth Social. The Qataris and Egyptians, who have worked very hard to help bring peace, will deliver this final proposal. I hope, for the good of the Middle East, that Hamas takes this deal because it will not get better, it will only get worse. Thank you for your attention to this matter, he asked. So I think that that framing's pretty interesting. you like, hey, they're framing this as like, oh, we have this deal and take this deal, and that way we can, and it's only going to get worse if you don't. So it's like, and this is but I guess we're probably going to get into the specifics of the deal, which I'm assuming is probably no different than all the other deals they sent over before that basically didn't really, I mean, we're essentially not a reasonable request. But let's go through this. Trump is expected to discuss the idea of a Gaza deal with Netanyahu when the Israeli leader visits the White House this coming Monday. So far, there's no sign that he's willing to leverage U.S. military aid to force a deal. According to the Axios report, Witkoff was set to brief Dermer on efforts to reach a 60-day truce, during which Hamas would release 10 Israeli captives. Hamas's long-standing offer has been that it will release all remaining hostages in exchange for a permanent ceasefire, but Israel has rejected the idea. Don't forget, this was the original deal that Israel broke. Like, blatantly broke. Hamas officials said earlier this week that Netanyahu doesn't want a deal because he is putting forward impossible conditions and is insisting on selecting the names of 10 Israeli hostages to be released instead of all of them. The Axios report said that the main impasse between the two sides is Hamas's demand for a clear guarantee that from the U.S. that the deal would lead to a permanent end to the genocidal war. A senior official told Axios that Israel is willing to adjust some of the deal's language to make it more acceptable to Hamas, but it won't agree to an upfront commitment to a permanent truce. The idea of the previous ceasefire deal that was signed in January was for the two sides to negotiate a permanent settlement during the first phase of the truce, but Israel never entered those talks and unilaterally ended the ceasefire. Israel has been escalating its assault on Gaza and is prepared to ramp things up even more. An Israeli official told Axios that Gaza would be turned into dust if the negotiations on a temporary truce don't advance. We'll do to Gaza City and the central camps what we did to Rafah. Everything will turn to dust. Keep in mind, they've got these guys herded into a pretty small little geographical area now. So, pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up. All right. Speaking of pretty fucked up, last 24 hours, we're just like, as I've said, made commentary on other conflicts before, I think even this contract, we're in the spot of every day. Okay, here we are. Now the story of the day is 112 died in Gaza. So yesterday 112 died and 463 wounded. Health Ministry said the bodies of 4 other killed were recovered. There's still a number of victims under the rubble and on the streets, and ambulance and civil defense crews cannot reach them. Said at least 16 were killed on Tuesday when attempting to get aid. So, hey, the aid numbers are coming down. So that's something, I guess. I mean, getting all this international backlash. So, yeah. And they admitted on Monday, we covered this yesterday, I think, that they had killed, that Israel had been killing people at the aid site. So this is admitted now. So, but now then the debate becomes whether they were ordered to, because that was the claim in Haaretz from numerous anonymous military members that, yeah, we were being ordered to fire towards these unarmed civilians. So, yeah, not looking good. Not looking good. And then also, don't forget, we have the West Bank while Gaza's going on, while Iran's going on. Since October 7th, 1,000 Palestinians have died there. And this is the West Bank, which is usually more characterized as a more, civilized area, I guess you could say. Yeah, pretty. And that's a place they're not really like in any sort of open anything. This is literally just the result of settler violence is what this. So, yeah, since October 7th, Israel's escalated its violence in the occupied West Bank, killing 1,000 Palestinians. This is from Al Jazeera, by the way. As the world was distracted by Israel's genocidal war on Gaza, which has killed more than 56,331 people and uprooted nearly the entire population of 2.3 million, Israel ramped up its violent raids on the West Bank, as well as its silence as Israeli settlers attack and kill Palestinian villagers. The most recent casualty was Samar Bassam el-Zagarna, a young man who was shot by Israeli soldiers on July 1st. According to the Wafa Palestinian news agency, Al-Zargnarna, God, I probably fucked that up, I'm sorry, was killed near the separation barrier, which Israel began building in 2002 to divide Jerusalem from the rest of the West Bank, and which cuts through Palestinian communities and agricultural fields. This is all you need to know about how we got here. Who is attacking Palestinians in the West Bank? Israeli forces and Israeli settlers from illegal settlements that are choking the West Bank. Settlers launched sudden violent raids on towns, burning property, attacking people, and trying to drive them out of their homes. At the same time, security forces have surrounded refugee camps and raided them relentlessly, driving yet more people from their homes and not allowing them to return. Many settlers have also been handed semi-automatic weapons and integrated into Israeli forces in the West Bank to compensate for all the personnel deployed to carry out the war on Gaza. Man, that's nuts. So they're literally just taking settlers and be like, oh, here you go. You can kind of fill in, man the guard. This has blurred the lines between the security forces and settlers, empowering the latter to escalate violence against Palestinians, which is kind of the key of the issue that I've always tried to express to you guys when we talk about the settler violence. I think people don't really understand when it comes to settler violence, pogrom violence, whatever you want to call it, is that it's this sliding, it's the public-private. It's the bastardization of the public-private connection. It's the like, oh, there's this connection here, but we're going to pretend to be private, and this way we can get away with stuff that we shouldn't be doing as a public entity. And vice versa. You're able to get away with shit that you wouldn't be able to get away with as a private entity because you have the cover of this public entity. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. The line gets blurred because even how this works is even at the lowest level, even with like the least amount of government approval, it's like you see settler violence and then these people do crazy shit and then nothing happens to them. So it's kind of almost, it's a anarcho-tyranny type shit. The idea of that like no one's stopping these riots or whatever. And then it'll go even further to where like, well, actually, this is anarcho-tyranny, the idea of like, but if you defend yourself against this, if you defend yourself against these rioters, these Israelis, these settlers, then now you get in trouble. And it kind of, the scale, the spectrum of it kind of goes further and further up to and including full-on complete agreement by the government of like, hey, these settlement locations, we give the complete official A-OK. Because it's like, I think they technically even, I don't know, it's a weird situation. They play this weird game where they're kind of playing dumb, like, well, that's the settlers, that's not us, because that is breaking international law. So it's a kind of a, although the recent thing with Smotrich when he announced it, that's kind of what I'm getting at with that. Even that wasn't technically the government doing it. That was the government, from my understanding, essentially giving the thumbs up to the settlers of doing it. So it essentially is a difference without whatever the fuck the saying is. It's basically the same thing, but with a minor differentiation to where they can kind of cop out and be like, ah. All right, here we go. Why is Israel doing this? To displace Palestinians and annex their land, according to residents, experts, right groups, and observers. In 2024, Israel confiscated more Palestinian land in the West Bank than the previous 20 years combined, according to Peace Now, an Israeli nonprofit tracking land theft in Palestine, which is what they do. This is anytime there's any sort of chaos, they capitalize it and then essentially get what they want. And as there's been more chaos, they've taken what they want. That creates more chaos. They take what they want, and so on and so forth, to the point to where they're in a 5+ front war. They're fucking attacking the West Bank. You got Gaza, you got Iran, you got Syria, you got Lebanon. I'm at 5. Is there anything going on in Iraq? Are they doing anything? I feel like there's got to be some shit in there. I don't think they took any land in Iraq, though. They took some land in Lebanon. They took land in Syria. They're taking land in West Bank. They're taking land in Gaza. So yeah, this is just any chance. And then once people get upset about it, then they go, well, you guys are super upset and are killing our security forces for taking your land. So that's all the more reason we need to take more land so that you guys can't kill or you're farther away from our people, because now we're super concerned you're going to kill us. It's just all ludicrous. Israel's far-right finance minister Bezalel Smotrich has led the charge after assuming control of the newly established Settlements Administration in February 2023 The position allows Smotrich to advance Israel's de facto, so that's kind of what I was getting at earlier, where they play this weird game. So it's the de facto annexation. It's kind of the idea of like where they go, well, AIPAC's not a foreign lobby. And you're like, what are you talking about? And you're like, that's the Israel lobby, right? No, that's the American Israel lobby. You're like, what? You're like, well, this is it's the lobby for our connection to Israel. You're like, shut the fuck up. That's kind of the same stupid fucking game that's played here. So by working to extend Israeli civil law over the area in direct contravention of international law, because the thing is, once they take over these areas and they're all able to be like, oh, Israeli law applies here, then they're able to put certain laws that restrict land buying and stuff that essentially makes it more amenable to Israelis, Jewish people. Smotrich has proved new outposts illegal not under international law, but also under Israeli law, confiscated land, and enforced settlement and construction regulations. Reality, Smotrich is relying on the occupation and settler violence to uproot Palestinians so that he can extend and approve new illegal Israeli settlements. Israeli forces killed 70 Palestinians at the West Bank in the first month over 2025. Over the last 2 months, they've killed 34 people, according to the Shireen Monitor, an observatory named after the murdered Palestinian Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh. Many of the casualties are a result of Israel's ongoing raids. Israel says the raids are to root out Palestinian armed groups which sprang up in 2021 to resist Israel's worsening violence and entrenching occupation in refugee camps across the West Bank. Okay, so they got some sort of armed resistance groups rising up, and so now they're using this for justification for all sorts of stuff. However, Israel has reportedly committed myriad human rights abuses on the ground, such as killing unarmed civilians, preventing families from burying their murdered loved ones, and razing entire village or neighborhoods to the ground to trigger mass displacement. All right, you guys get the idea. Yeah, shit's still going. Shit's still going on there, and doesn't show any sign of slowing up. All right, let's take a minute, go through chat. Been a while since I checked in with y'all. See what y'all gotta say. I wonder if Diddy's gonna keep diddling on a big scale after this, like Epstein did, or not. I don't know. You would think he would. You'd think maybe he'd be a little bit smarter about it now. I don't know. Let's see what all you guys gotta say. Settler violence, yeah. You can't hide behind human shields when you just give the human shields semi-autos. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too. What I like, while it is kind of a dark topic, like even when it comes to things when people talk about, like, say, October 7th, you got to keep in mind this is a country where people are mandated military service. So, like, I mean, so I guess once you're no longer in the military, it's like debatable. But even then, there's the additional component of a lot of these people, the settlers. I mean, that's no different than a criminal. So, I mean, so when people say, like, oh, these are innocents or this or that, and you're like, sorta. I mean, I guess to the extent that a lot of these people have been, I guess, maybe propagandized and deluded into thinking that, I don't know, legitimate property infractions are somehow okay or acceptable, or it's because it's yours or something. But at the end of the day, if we saw any other theft occurring, and someone reacted with violence to protect their property and someone got hurt, you wouldn't go, whoa, well, that person was innocent. You're like, no, they're doing it. Because the thing is, we do this distinction where you go, okay, well, there's these two entities fighting, and you're like, we have these two military, you have Hamas, and you have the IDF, and they're fighting. And you're like, well, it's not quite that simple, since it's, as I said, you know, all of these people are mandated military service, so it's kind of blurred a little bit more there. And then, yeah, so it's, yeah. And then on top of that, these people are literally stealing. So they're not really these private actors that are behaving. These are criminals. These are criminals that are performing criminal actions. And it's like, if violence is done against them, it's like, well, you know, in that context of in response to something, obviously it gets a lot more complicated when we're talking about it back and forth. I'm in no way trying to say what happened on October 7th is justified, but if we're playing this game of well, I mean, because I don't think I'm anti-war altogether. I don't think that should have happened. But if we're playing this game, it's Yeah, I know it's just kind of a silly game. I think it's the idea that like, well, it's not as simple as like, oh, all these innocent poor people, or like, yeah, well, they're not. It's not quite that simple. It's very much playing the victim here, somewhat. So, yeah. All right, let's scroll through. Let's see what you guys got to say. Israel's the most brainwashed nation on earth. You can't blame the average Israeli for being a victim of brainwashing. Our military slash society is no different. Yeah, which that's another thing. I know this is with the death to IDF discussion going on recently. I listen to Piers get all butthurt about it a lot. I've been listening to his show a lot recently. It's pretty. I just find it super gay. Dave made a good point on this. The idea that like these people would have no problem with anyone saying death to Hamas. But it's this idea of like, well, they're military. And I say this as someone who was a military member, and it is kind of like, does kind of fuck with you, the idea of like, oh, I was literally the baddie. And like, in a certain sense, it probably would be borderline justifiable if something had happened because I was participating in violence. But point being is you don't get to go, my government said do a thing and now I can absolve myself of responsibility. And weirdly that seems to be, and I don't know how no one is pointing this out to Piers because he said this many, many times of like, oh, these military members, these IDF, they're just doing what their government told them to do. I don't fucking care. I mean, I care. I mean, it's a sad situation you're put in, but that is the Nuremberg defense. That's the Nuremberg defense. That does not work. Like, it's renowned for not working. Like, it's a joke. It should be like any person has any respect for, the logical arguments, you should be should be an affront to you that would even be brought up. Like, it's ridiculous. So I don't know. It's just it just really exposes how gay some of these people are. It's the idea that like if you are military, you don't just get to absolve yourself. It's not like, well, I was for the military. It's such a stupid way of looking. It's like, no, you are the one doing the thing. So if you receive the not so surprising consequence of doing the thing, bummer, you shouldn't have done the thing. I mean, I don't know. It's all. I mean, I guess it makes it all that much more sad knowing that people do get brainwashed into doing this. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, like you kind of really can't be mad at like what essentially is a victim in many situations, responding to defend themselves. So obviously, I mean, once again, it's super abstract when we're talking about wars. But I'm just saying, it's not the lines are a little bit blurred here, and that's kind of the point, I think. So. All right, let's get into the next story. Mike Huckabee suggests US B-2 bomber should visit Yemen after Houthis fire missile at Israel. Not going to go through this one entirely, but I just want to kind of remind you guys, we still have these things going on. We still have the Houthis firing missiles at Israel. So we still have the situation where things could pick up at any time. Israel has promised that essentially they're going to resume their shit with Iran at some point. So I mean, it's just kind of, and as soon as things, I think, once they start getting pushed more on the Gaza thing, I think something drastic will probably pick up somewhere else. So at some point, gotta stop playing this game and go, fuck you, we're not giving you aid, but we'll probably play this game for forever. But I'm just saying, keep an eye on the Yemen thing, because that's another vector where I could see, oh no, this blows back up again. But as I kind of illustrated earlier, with Israel, we have so many vectors. I just want to remind you guys, since especially with Yemen, that's one we were actually literally engaged with, that could pick back up. But I mean, that we have, like I said, Libya, we have Syria, we have Iran. So there's plenty of other places where shit could pick back up and get weird. So, and then also here too, we have Ukrainian drone attack kills 3 workers at a factory deep inside Russia. So we still got drone attacks going on there. I guess here is a picture of the explosion. So this is in the heart of Russia. This was in Izhevsk. Man, that's a fucking... 3 people died, 35 hospitalized, 10 in severe condition. So, yeah. We still got this shit going on. Doesn't show much chance of slowing down. So we have efforts to reach a ceasefire and peace deal have stalled as the two sides remain very far apart on their conditions and the war. Politico reported on Tuesday the U.S. has begun to halt shipments of some munitions to Ukraine, which could make Ukraine more likely to make concessions to Russia, although the extent of the pause is unclear. So I don't know. We'll see. And then also, I guess, I don't know if you guys forgot about the whole that Cuba place. Apparently, we still have problems with them, and I guess we're going to ramp up our bullshit with them again. So the Trump orders administration to ramp up efforts to bring down the government in Cuba, tightening sanctions and programs. Great. I'm not going to read through all this, but fucking gay. This is what you guys voted for, the whole Cuba thing, because I don't know, I guess this makes certain BoomerCon Cubans in Florida super fucking hyped. I don't know. This is a bizarre one. I don't really understand the impetus for continuing to snub our geographical neighbor and just completely fucking them over and really fucking just screwing ourselves over too. Because I mean, not that way there'd be a huge economic boon, but it's a partner. There's no reason why that can't be someone tourism, all sorts of stuff. Who knows what could flourish if we had just normal relations between the two nations. But nope, we can't do that because, I don't know, Trump's got to look like he's got a big old dick or something. I don't know. All right, let's roll the chat, and then we'll get to, we'll be out of foreign policy. See what y'all got to say. U.S. just pulled weapons from Ukraine again. Look, more and more I was correct that Trump told Putin he would back out of Ukraine in exchange for not getting involved in Iran. Maybe. We'll see. You're probably right. I don't know. Calnad's late here, but good morning. Good to see you here. Good morning, Gerald Hall. Good morning. All right, let's get into this fucking goofball. Says this. He shared this thing from The Guardian. This article says Trump's Justice Department issues directive to strip naturalized Americans of citizenship for criminal offenses. And then we have Tim Pool who says, what do you call it when it's more than based? Oh, so fucking based. And then we have Raymond down here. Go, Bubba based. Oh, so fucking based. So fucking cool, guys. We're going to denaturalize U.S. citizens. So fucking cool. Now, to be fair, I don't know the specifics here. I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday. This is a little bit more. Now, I did hunt down an article. I don't think this is the exact one Tim Pool is talking about here. But it is through The Guardian. So this is Trump seizes on moral character loophole as way to revoke citizenship. So I think this is more specific on that thing. So the memo everyone's been talking about. So I figured maybe this will give us a little bit jog our memory, or not jog our memory, get us up to speed on what the hell is the deal with this thing. Because it sounds pretty damn unbelievable, and I'm kind of astounded to see. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if maybe I know Tim Pool does this thing where sometimes where it's like, oh, I was just kidding. I was just pretending to be retarded. And you're like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it. I troll, you make up, but like, I just feel like he does it in a really clunky, retarded way. So it's like I could see him later be like, oh, this is. But no, I guess he really is genuinely being like, oh, this is fucking cool. I mean, I don't know. I guess to be fair, I'd need to know specifics. I guess sure. Or like if you're like. I mean, I don't know. I mean, even then, I'm like, what fucking real reason can I really think of that I would want an actual U.S. citizen to be stripped of their, like, even if I'm like, they're murdered someone, I'm like, then why, what? Then just put them in fucking jail. What is the point of removing their citizenship? Like, I don't understand. Like, what is, like, I don't even understand being like, oh, this is so fucking cool. If you commit crimes, you're not from here, bitch. Like, what does it even mean? You just cannonball them out of the United States? Like, what does that mean? That's just such a bizarre, I don't know, outlook on criminal justice? I don't know. This is weird to me. I mean, do you guys agree? This just seems like an odd perspective to be like, oh, this is so fucking cool. But all right, I guess let's read this fucking thing from Jose Olivares. Now, this is from The Guardian. I think it's a little bit more lefty, if I recall, with The Guardian, so it'll probably be a little bit gay. But, I don't know. This seems like something to be concerned about for fucking sure. So here it says a Justice Department memo directing the department's Civil Division to target the denaturalization of U.S. citizens around the country has opened up a new avenue for Donald Trump's mass deportation agenda. Experts say in the U.S., when a person is denaturalized, they return the status they held before becoming a citizen. Someone was previously a permanent resident, for example, they would be classified as such again, which can open the door to deportation efforts. The memo, published on 11 June, instructed the Justice Department's Civil Division to prioritize, which prioritize and maximally pursue denaturalization proceedings in all cases permitted by law and supported by the evidence. Immigration matters are civil matters, meaning that immigrants, whether they are naturalized citizens or not, do not have the right to an attorney in such cases. Okay, so when someone... So target the denaturalization. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm going over this slowly. I just want to make sure I'm not like misreading some specific point here, because it does sound like, no, they're still describing literally de-citizenizing someone, essentially. So... and to prioritize, okay, permitted by law and supported by the evidence. I don't even understand what, I don't know, I struggle to wrap my head around even why it would make sense for criminal stuff, unless it's someone that's in some weird, like, I don't know, immigration legal status limbo, but that wouldn't be a citizen. So... All right, Musavar Krishti from the Migration Policy Institute, a nonpartisan think tank, explained that much of immigration law was based on discretion by government officials. To revoke a person's citizenship, U.S. officials must demonstrate that they are not of good moral character. What the fuck? Okay, a subjective and broad term with little defined parameters. Now, the recent memo lists a broad range of categories of people who should be stripped of their naturalized citizenship status, providing further guidance as to who is not of good moral character. Okay, that's creepy. This includes those with a nexus to terrorism and espionage, war criminals, and those who were found to have lied in their naturalization process. Officials still need to prove their case, Chishchi, that's an annoying name. Explained. Okay. Those are the nexus to terrorism and espionage. Okay. War criminals. Okay. And then those who are found to have lied in their naturalization. Okay, I guess to be fair, those are ones that like maybe. Okay, because like espionage, it's like you could be a citizen, but it's like a good example, ironically, would be like dual citizenship. Like if you're a dual citizen to Israel and you do pull some like Jonathan Pollard type shit, I think it's his name, right? Or Jonathan Pollard, right? That was the Israeli fucking spook. But yeah, it would make sense to be like, okay, well, you literally fucking essentially committed treason. So you can lose your citizenship and you can be an Israeli citizen. But even then, that's it's so bizarre, because by giving up their citizenship, I feel like the implication here is that you should theoretically give them to whatever their home state is and then give them the applicable criminal justice for it. But what happens if you're de-citizenized? Is that like this? So what's the point? Is my point? Like, why? Unless it's because you're like literally a dual citizen. And it's like, well, we just don't want it. Even then, though, it would be like, well, what would be the point of undoing the citizenship? Because it's like, if anything, that gives you more leverage to be able to fuck with them for them fucking you over. So, I don't know. Even then, now the more I think about it, the more I'm still like, this makes no fucking sense. This seems like some sort of weird, creepy loophole to do weird shit, especially when you take into account that things like Border Patrol and stuff, they have really creepy, weird rules. So if you could do this, like this almost seems like some sort of creepy, like broad workaround for the actual normal criminal justice system, and by doing it through the immigration system. And so you can do it where you have the Border Patrol who has crazy criminal, crazy rights, I guess you could say, or abilities. I'm pretty sure like if it's something crazy, like was like 50 to 200 or something crazy miles within, I think, a body of water or a border, they can do like warrantless searches and all sorts of craziness. Now, if you can do that, and then also you ham fist in stuff where you can take away citizenship. I don't know. I mean, this could be weird. I don't know. The more I think about this, the more I don't even understand it. The administration can't on their own denaturalize people. They still have to go to a federal district court, said Chris Chishchi. Denaturalization finally does belong to federal district courts, but they are obviously keen on finding every way they can to denaturalize people they think do not deserve to be naturalized. However, the Justice Department's memo is not solely confined to those expanded categories. gives more discretion to officials who pursue these cases, prompting a fear for analysts and attorneys that the directive by the Trump administration is overly broad. By Jorge Lowry, a director of policy for the American Immigration Council, a new category in the memo stood out to him. Individuals accused of being gang and cartel members. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that would be shady as fuck. Because it's like, what, because you're a Latin king, now you lose your American citizenship? That's a little bit, doesn't make any sense. Dude, you were born here. No, you should probably deal with the repercussions of your actions in the United States. I don't really even understand why it would be anyone's benefit to remove the citizenship. All right, Lowry is concerned because of the way the administration has treated people that it deems to be gang members. Yeah, that hasn't been a big thing. He said it wasn't that long ago the administration flew hundreds of people from the U.S. to a prison in El Salvador on, in most instances, flimsy evidence. Yep. Although the memo marks an escalation by the Trump administration, is not entirely news. In recent decades, other nations have also engaged in seeking to strip citizenship from certain people. Denaturalization in the U.S. has a long history. Okay, I don't care about all that gay shit. I don't want to hear about your long fucking, left-wing diatribe, which is what, 2/3 of this article seems to be. But yeah, I am concerned as well. I just didn't need the gay little preamble or a little speech. So yeah, creepy stuff, guys. I don't know if this creeps you out, but it sure as shit creeps me out. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Weird. All right, let's look in the tab real quick. I think. All right. Oh, actually, there's one more thing I want to look at. There's the memo. I want to see if we have. The memo calls on attorneys in the department to institute civil proceedings to revoke a person's citizenship if an individual either illegally procured naturalization or procured naturalization by concealment of a material fact or by willful misrepresentation. Okay, so this seems like this is how it was presented initially or understood. Okay, I just wanted to look at one of the initial ones kind of going into the memo real quick. All right, interesting stuff, guys. Let's get into... Actually, let's roll through the chat, see what you guys say, and then we'll get into old Alligator Alcatraz, that shit. See what all you guys got to say. Good morning, Tower Gang NPC. Seeing you pop out here. Dr. Tory says it's always been legal. It's just a refocus. Okay. When you become a citizen as an immigrant, you are subject to morality clauses. Commies come here and rally for socialism should have their citizenship revoked. I don't know. I mean, maybe if citizenship, if it was like a voluntary thing, I don't know. But they're kind of like forced to be here. They're born to be here, and I don't know. I mean, that would be a whole. I don't agree with that. So, but yeah, I don't like commies though. So I mean, it does make me cringe a little bit to think like, but I do want bad things for them. All right. The deep state has been using naturalization to bring in people like Ilhan Omar and get them elected. Do you have legal questions about immigration law, Jose? Not particularly. I mean, I don't know. I just talked a bunch, JR. If you have any, drop in the chat. If you have any answers for any of the stuff I talked about in the last few minutes, please drop it in the chat. I don't think you should be able to get citizenship at all if you're not born here. Permanent residence, sure, as long as you don't fuck up too bad. I don't know. I'm not personally even really all that... Don't really care too much about whatever certificates you get from the state or whatever the fuck. I mean, I don't know, whether citizenship, permanent resident, whatever. I don't think you should be able to steal. I don't think you should be able to tap into any sort of social services if you don't contribute in any way, even if it is in a non-voluntary manner. So, but then again, I don't think anyone should be able to have access to social services, and I don't think we should be stolen from. So, all right, scrolling through. Lie in a contract, and the contract is void. Closest argument I could see for Dean. Yeah, which they mentioned that. Yeah, that'd be fair because it is like, yeah, that was void contract. So Jose, I think you're confused about naturalized versus a regular citizen. Perhaps, maybe. Okay. Oh, because all right, I'm retarded. Or then I am. Perhaps I am retarded. I'm all tongue-tied right now. Perhaps I am retarded, and like naturalized is it? So like they're only. So then that means that was I was trying to read in at the very beginning, like read it, like make sure I got every word correct, because I was like, are they trying to say it's only for people who? So I'm guessing a naturalized citizen is someone who went through the process, they weren't born here, and then became a citizen. So that's naturalized, as opposed to being born here. So a regular citizen is just someone who's born here. I thought naturalization is just whatever the process of becoming a citizen, regardless of what that was, whether that was birth or whatever. That's what I thought that just meant. So, okay, sounds like there's a distinction to be had here. So then maybe they're saying, correct me, you guys let me know in the chat if that's correct. It sounds like they're saying only people who weren't born here, essentially got citizenship at some point in their life, they can have it revoked later on, is what they're saying. Which I guess is less egregious, but still creepy. I still don't like it. Tom says yes. Okay, cool. All right, well then that's better. I can see more now where the conservatives are coming from. Where this is based, but I still don't like it. It's still weird. It still doesn't make much sense to me. It's kind of like I don't know. Yeah, it's not as bad. Not as bad now. So that makes sense. But okay, all right. Maybe that's not as bad. But I do have some more stuff on the immigration side of things. It's a little bit creepy. A little bit creepy, I would say. And it's, once again, even then, on that same note as I said, with kind of like, why are these people celebrating that? We have these goofballs doing the same thing here. Here's Benny Johnson talking about Alligator Alcatraz. He says here, I don't think anyone realizes how impressive Alligator Alcatraz is. The state of Florida built this 3,000-bed federal prison in 8 days. The director tells me it could have been done in 72 hours were it not for some regulatory holdups. Now, all the state needs is DOJ approval to deputize the National Guard as deportation judges, and this will become the most efficient deportation center in American history. Fuck yeah! Woo! And yeah, let's watch this video. You guys can get a look at this Alligator Alcatraz, which is essentially it's like I guess supposed to be some sort of deportation something or other, holding house or something that they set up here in Florida that DeSantis has been super proud of. So you can see it right here. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know, any of you guys been to prison? I haven't been to prison. I went to basic training, so it's a little bit different. It was a similar-ish setup, sort of, so far as all the beds together. Anyone who's gone to prison, though, I guess that'd be more accurate representation of what I'm getting at here. I'm curious. What do you guys think about the setup? Because this looks like let's mute this and kind of play this again, because I kind of want to, I don't know, what do we see here? Let me see. It seems like 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. What we, 1, boom, 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 boom. 5, 6. So 6 by, I don't know, at least 8. So 6 by 8, 48. Then, okay, so it looks like damn near almost 100 beds in each little, like, almost bay, like these broken up by chain link fences. I might be counting wrong. That was super quick math there. But yeah, I don't know, 50 to 100. So that just seems like much like these GHF situation, the AIDS stuff with people dying every day. I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm asking if anyone's gone to prison. Like, how many people would they really fit into an area? Because that seems excessive. So if this was a packed, say this was packed with a person to each bed, that I feel like that this would be asking for trouble personally. But I don't know. I've never ran a prison, never been in prison. Went to basic training, and it wasn't, I don't even think we had, like, each one of these little, spots is like, that's probably was maybe both sides. So, like, we would only have, like, half that in, like, one little bay or whatever. So, I don't know. This, I know they're all bragging about how cool it is and how quickly it was made, but I don't know. From a logistical perspective of housing what is essentially, I guess, criminals, I don't know. This doesn't look smart to me, personally. This looks, not very good, but either way, I guess that's a side point. So that's a thing that's going on. They're all excited about it. We even have here, it's funny. Here's a post from Benny Johnson going, "Hey guys, I have just been handed official Alligator Alcatraz merch. I repeat, this prison has merch. Things are going insanely well. And him being a little smug fuck here. Robert Scavarla saying, wearing my cool new merch from the concentration camp. Yeah. Which, this is another one of those ones, I'm like, why? It's creepy watching the right wing clap like seals. This is weird. You need to add to this where the Senate approves unprecedented spending for mass deportation, ignoring what's broken in our immigration system. Once again, this will probably be a little bit more lefty. July 1st, the U.S. Senate passed a budget reconciliation bill that includes a unprecedented allocation of funds for immigration, detention, and enforcement while simultaneously stripping health care from millions of workers. Man, I don't give a shit about the health care. The bill passed today with President J.D. Vance contributed the tie-breaking vote or earmarked some $170 billion for immigration and border enforcement related funded provisions. The bill includes $45 billion for building new immigration detention centers, including family detention facilities. This represents a 265% annual budget increase to ICE current detention budget. It is a 62% larger budget than the entire federal prison system and could result in daily detention of at least 116,000 non-citizens. And I get it. No, we all were been fed this crazy propaganda about how, I know, we've been importing, I know, how do I put this? They've been fucking armies across the border. And I don't know, maybe there's some truth doing this a lot, but this seems a 62% larger budget than the entire federal prison system. I guess it's federal, to be fair, so I guess there's going to be less in the federal prison system. But still, holy shit. That seems, I don't know, it seems like there's a little bit of a supply and demand issue here. I struggle to see how they would be able to keep up with that level of demand. I don't know, maybe they'll solve my concerns about the bays there. Maybe they'll be pretty empty. Who knows? $29.9 billion, but then with all this money though, the problem is I say it'd be empty, but it's like once there's a budget, they gotta find something. So all those sweeping powers I was talking about Border Patrol having earlier might get a little bit more and more creepy. So $29.9 billion toward ICE's enforcement and deportation operations, include increasing ICE's annual budget threefold. So yeah, the ICE just tripled. That's nuts. Alongside this increased spending and immigration enforcement, between 12 to 17 million people are at risk of... I don't fucking care about the healthcare. Shut up about the healthcare. Why are you even putting healthcare in here? Shut the fuck up. Caps the number of immigration judges to 800 despite record backlogs in immigration. $46.6 billion to border wall construction. Okay, whatever. I mean, while I know everyone likes to make fun of it, that's actually probably the only thing of any sort of value is the wall. A new $10 billion fund to reimburse DHS for costs related to safeguarding the borders of the U.S. to protect against illegal entry of persons or, okay, whatever the fuck that is. That just sounds like some sort of slush shit. But yeah, lots of money. A lot of money for immigration. What are they going to do with that money? I don't know. They need to find something to do with it. They don't like to just sit on money. And if they're not justifying the existence of their, organizations, I don't know, doesn't look so great in front of Congress and all the bigwigs. It makes them look a little bit foolish, just a little bit. So a little freaky, little freaky. I'm not liking where this immigration game is going. It's freaking me the fuck out, guys. All right, let's roll through the chat. See what you guys gonna say. All right. Putting the arbitration and enforcement in the hands of the same powers that knowingly lie in their contracts is also retarded. I'm for shutting down all immigration, even legal, until we deport 50 million. Never going to happen, but I can dream. I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of these people are all super happy about deportations and this and that. And like I've said it many times, I'm not like against if someone, I'm very, hop up pilled when it comes to it, but just as I keep pointing out, every single time, it's like really this feels like, and I'm not picking on you here, this feels like the boomer, like this feels like the conservative, oh, don't, you fell for it again. That's what this feels like. Oh, this like kind of why I presented all these things in the way I presented today. I don't know if you guys picked up on this. You know what? And I literally started with Alex Jones in this. They're literally making the fucking FEMA camps. Like, they're like, the fucking FEMA camps. and the right wing is cheering it on because herder immigration. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit being a little bit crazy, but I can't help but notice how often this doesn't really seem to work out. And I'm someone who's saying, like, I get it. Like, if we got rid of any illegals that are committing crimes or in any way using any sort of social services or whatever, I don't particularly have any illegals. I live in an area where there's all sorts of immigrant workers. I don't really give a shit about them. But, I mean, whatever. I mean, like, I'm completely fine with that. But I just know the problem is once you put that power in the state, I mean, they're going to take it and they're going to go, because once you give them this mandate, they always like to say of like, oh, here's this thing you actually need to do, they're going to take it and they're going to use it and they're going to do stupid shit. And I don't know, it is like, I don't know, I sympathize so much with this because I completely get the arguments of like, hey, it's not okay just to be importing these people from other countries. I even can go full on ANCAP and go in a fully privatized world. This isn't how it worked. These people would need likely, need someone who was willing to sponsor them to come in there. They would have to already have a place, secured because everything would be privatized. I completely get the arguments, but it's just like, I don't know. It's hard not to notice every single time. It's like, oh, I see how this is playing out. This is just stealing more money from my wallet and in ways that seem to actually undermine anything that I want. So, I don't know. It just feels like it feels like I fell for it. They're going to give even if they get this, the conservatives get this immigration stuff they want, I don't think it's really going to be what they want when it's all done. And then they're like smug idiots will go, I voted for this. Just like all the idiots saying that they voted for a lot of this shit now. So, yeah. Always comes gay empire shit. So, I'm not gonna lie, Alligator Alcatraz is a pretty cool name. It's a pretty cool name. It's a pretty sick name. Yeah. So name retarded, but governments don't have a good track record of putting people in camps. Exactly. So looks like a dog kennel. It costed us $20 million. Yeah, I know, right? So they're like, oh, look how quick it made us. You're like, dude, it's literally chain link fences. You fucking idiot. Tent cities work great. Sheriff Joe used them all the time to hold criminals outside in Arizona. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I've never ran a prison. It just seems like a lot, way too many people in a small area. It seems like a recipe for disaster, but I don't know. Theoretically, it's supposed to be for quick processing, like a weekend, then gone. I'd say it's fine. But for several months or longer, it's going to get iffy. Okay. Yeah, that's a good breakdown, I think. And Benny Johnson is a low-key cock gobbler for sure. I think he's legitimately a gay man. So it's supposed to be for short-term visitors, like their last stop. Okay, yeah. I mean, if it gets too filled up, I could see that being an issue. So I doubt they will yield results. Yup. It's government. It's all money laundering. Exactly. So it's like, just stop stealing my money. It's all like they're just taking your money and finding dumb shit to do it with it. So, or even shit that undermines literally what you want. So. I know this whole, like, people clapping like, oh, immigration. It's like, yeah, ha ha ha, and they clap with you, and then they completely undermine all the things you want with the money you gave them for that thing. So, real talk, if they're serious about border control, they'd deploy the drones. Mass deportations are going to cause deflation and spur the robotic replacement wave. Yes, it absolutely is. Yes, it absolutely is a boomer con. Yeah, probably. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how it'll play out, really. Laney says if they wanted to create FEMA camps, they could basically do it at any point with no real excuse anyways. Exactly. I mean, they already have it. That's the kind of point. Like, we have them here. They're ready to go. So, keeping the state's power bad, but are we to permit foreigners outnumbering our progeny? Nah. No, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, there are all sorts of things you can do. I mean, it's not a binary here, but this is kind of my point, though, that, like, and this is kind of the dialectic here. Like, you see, as we're about to get into this next story of Palantir, and, like, look how much we've empowered them with immigration stuff, and look how this dialectic plays out. We had the left wing that, herding all these people in, and then now we have the right wing go, oh, we have this huge immigration problem, and now they have this mandate, and we must do anything. And with that, we've empowered Palantir to run rampant. So it's like, is this really, you know, if you like compare the things, you're like, okay, compared to, let's say the government never did a damn thing about it. And let's just say that, and that's completely acknowledging it is a problem. But let's say the government stopped trying to do any sort of immigration efforts whatsoever, major immigration pushes like they do. I don't know. It's like compared to what? Would it really be that, like we would have also not empowered Palantir as much? And the point being is it's a poison pill, and seems always like the fix the government tries to give you is always like most of the time probably worse than if you had done nothing. And at best, like maybe you're just spinning your wheels and giving yourself this smug feeling like you did something. So I don't know. Very rarely is it really like, oh, that was good. So yeah. I mean, I get, so my point being with like the immigration thing, I get people's frustration, but it's just this little trap that you're stuck in. It's like, you're fucked if you do, you're fucked if you don't, but it's like, I don't know, at least you can kind of break away from the state a little bit to some extent with one option. You don't keep feeding into their stupid fucking game. So I don't know. So let's keep scrolling through. Protect your community. This is the issue with federal overreach. Boomer cons have the mentality of Big Daddy Fed doing everything for them. Well, if they outnumber my prodigy, I'll move to their country and outnumber theirs. Fight fire with fire. I don't know if that will work so well. Elliot James. USA is not one country. It never has been. It never will be. The northern brainwashing has people by the balls, says Hustle Bones. All right, let's get into this Palantir story that I was kind of teasing at right here. This is from Jacob, shared this with me, so thank you, Jacob. I think I saw him in the chat a little bit ago. It says, this is from the Utah Freedom Coalition. How more people that call themselves conservatives, not conservatives, screaming about from the rooftops about this? Seriously. What this person shared was a photo of U.S. Army appoints Palantir, Meta, OpenAI execs as lieutenant colonels. Yeah. This is from the Gray Zone. Let's read this because I gotta find out more about this. I don't know about you guys. I need to know more because how the fuck are we just taking these fucking nerds and going, ta-da! Now you're a certified officer. What an O. It's like six? No, it's 5. I don't fucking know. I forget. Whatever. It's 1, 2 are the lieutenants. Then you got 3's captain. You got 4's major. 5 lieutenant colonel. So all right. U.S. Army appoints Palantir, Meta, OpenAI execs as lieutenant colonels. This is from Wyatt Reed. This was actually in June 18th. So this is an older one. 4 senior executives at Palantir, Meta, and OpenAI have been formally appointed lieutenant colonels in the U.S. Army. I thought it was going to be like, they're saying formally? I thought it was going to be like symbolically or something. Okay. And the creation of a special unit created for rich big tech mavens seeking military leadership roles. Okay. On June 13th, the Army announced the creation of Detachment 201, otherwise known as the Executive Innovation Corps, which it describes as a new initiative designed to fuse cutting-edge expertise with military innovation. 4 ultra-wealthy executives from top tech companies were sworn into the unit ahead of President Trump's heavily promoted military parade, which was itself sponsored by Palantir. The Army's top spokesman declared that Detachment 201 was being created to bring in tech innovation executive leaders to help the Army with the recruitment and the subsequent training of tech-focused people. By bringing private sector know-how into uniform, Detachment 201 is supercharging efforts like the Army Transformation Initiative, which aims to make the force leaner, smarter, and more lethal, the Army wrote in an official statement. Okay. I gotta say, from the military's perspective, like if you like are hoorah, go military, you want things to be more efficient, pretty smart actually. At least from my understanding, or maybe how I'm thinking what this is. But obviously creepy from a citizen's perspective. But let's keep going. So Palantir is by far the S&P's 500's top performing stock of the year. Thanks in part to the gargantuan contracts is raked in from the Trump administration. According to the company's founder, Alex Karp, Palantir is here to disrupt, and when it's necessary, to scare enemies and on occasion kill them. Shares a dystopian data firm which is named after the all-seeing orb used by the evil wizard Saruman to surveil Middle-earth in The Lord of the Rings skyrocketed to an all-time high following Israel's unprovoked assault on Iran. Elsewhere, Karp has eagerly embraced the model of disaster capitalism, remarking, "Bad times are very good for Palantir because we build products that are built for danger." All right. In recent years, Palantir has come to dominate the Western information sphere and now enjoys unfettered access to the sensitive data of citizens in countries from the U.S. to the U.K., with customers including the DoD, CIA, NSA, FBI, ICE, and Spec Ops. Palantir has become a one-stop shop for weaponized AI-based data analysis. Amid the ruins of the national security state's obsessive search for enemies overseas, Palantir built a reputation for being both user-friendly and slavishly obedient to the military establishment. If you do not feel comfortable supporting the legitimate efforts of America and its allies in the context of war, don't join Palantir, Karp declared. In an article published on the day that military officials revealed the creation of Detachment 201, Mumbai-born Palantir CTO Shyam Sankar revealed that he was among the 4 members of the nation's business elite selected for a special corps meant to deploy their technical talents in service of the U.S. government. Later today, on the eve of the U.S. Army's 250th birthday, I will raise my right hand, take an oath to support and defend the Constitution, and commission as a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserve's newly formed Detachment 201 Executive Innovation Corps, he boasted. Sankar was joined by what he described as some of the most impressive minds from the world of technology. Kevin Weil, the Chief Product Officer of OpenAI, Andrew Bosworth, the Chief Technology Officer of Meta, and Bob McGrew, formerly the Chief Research Officer of OpenAI and Engineering Director of Palantir Technologies, where I work as Chief Technology Officer. Now, you guys need to remember this. So you remember the names. Might be worthwhile. Like, who's Sankar? Is the CTO? Yeah, these guys, they are literally military now. And they're like some of their top guys over at Palantir, OpenAI. I mean, like I've been pointing out over and over again, the government contractor, how they're government contractors and they basically are the state. Now they literally are the state. The creation of the Techie Poindexter Patrol was necessary, Sankar suggested, due to a geopolitical sea change in which wars in Europe and the Middle East, and above all, the threat of a war in the Pacific, have focused the national mind and initiated a scramble for mobilization. Despite his obvious glee at being fast-tracked to military leadership, Sankar acknowledged it was an unusual arrangement. A decade ago, it would have been unthinkable for so many tech heavyweights to openly align with the U.S. military. Equally, it would have been out of character for the military to enlist the support of the nation's business elite, much less to create a special corps so they could deploy their technical talents in service of the government. The Palantir executive pointed to exploding pagers and long-distance drone strikes from shipping containers as attacks, which prove that technology has once again changed the battlefield and that our military has to change with it. With their newly minted lieutenant colonels a world away, Palantir's corporate officer corps will not be rallying the troops for the next war, but safely ensconced behind their digital curtain, they'll be watching and talking the next generation of nerds into signing up too. So yeah, sketchy stuff. Not a fan. All right, let's go through the chat, see what you guys have to say about that one. That one was particularly wild. All right. What happened to the guy who wanted to invade Haiti? I don't know who you're talking about. I never wanted to invade Haiti. Scrolling through. Someone says it is a good idea. I don't know if you're talking about the tech thing. It is a good idea from a military perspective for sure. I thought Palantir just collects information. Yeah, I have my buddy Clint on tomorrow, and I'm a tech tard. I don't really completely even understand what Palantir does entirely. I think I get the idea sort of, but we'll be talking about that more tomorrow. So, All right, you guys are talking about a bunch of weird local politics stuff. That's great. That's great. You guys, again, local. That's great. Oh, by the way, I do want to take a moment to remind you guys, for the supporters of the show, and the supporters of me and Austin, too, hit us up if you are interested in Telegram. Telegram is I don't know, it's a good little app to interact with you guys. It's for supporters, though, so you've had to have been a patron at some point. All you gotta do is support like once. Me or Austin, I don't know, give us like $2-3 one time, and congrats. Now you're in the Telegram forever. So it's I don't know, Telegram's fun. We had it for Tower Gang, and Tower Gang kind of fell apart when that's falling apart. I was like, oh shit, I really liked the Telegram community we built over there. So we took some of that over to made a No Way Jose one. Then talked to Austin, and then he was like, oh shit, I'd like to do that too. So now it's kind of an already dead one. It's like a joint No Way Jose underclass podcast type thing. So you have that whole community there. It's already come in handy already. It's only been existed for a handful of days, and I already was using it for topics today. So thank you. I think it'll be really great, especially for a parapolitical community, to have a Telegram, especially anyone familiar with Telegram. I think it'll be a really cool thing for that. So. All right. Scrolling through. Can I support? You can, Evan. Over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. The link is, you got to hit me up. I'm gonna put it out on the Patreon for the patrons, because I still haven't put out a link, but a lot of people have already hit me up personally and just gone it. So if you hit me up, I'll send you the link. If you have a way to hit me up, I can send you the link over there, especially you, Jacob. I know you're a supporter, so that way you can come over there. But yeah, so TG Telegram is still going despite you guys being gay. Yeah, I do pop over there. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe even Tower Gang will ride again. We'll see. I'm not saying that like I know anything, but you never know what the future may bring. So, but Tower Gang Telegram is cool. Actually, I hope Tower Gang Telegram still sticks around. Tower Gang was literally born out of a group chat. So, and that group chat still exists to this day, despite Tower Gang kind of not really existing. So it'd be cool if the Telegram does the same. You guys live on and keep our name alive. All right, let's get into this story. We covered this a lot last night for those who want to dig into this more, but I did reference multiple times with the recent Idaho shooting thingamajig, the Coeur d'Alene, firefighting, the firefighter shooting, I guess. There was reports of this guy being some sort of weird, all these immediate reports come out about them being some sort of troon or some weird whatever the hell. Well, I guess this dude's a brony. So we'll go through that. I just thought that'd be a fun aside. But if you do want a deeper dig, me and Austin dug into it last night on Already Dead. More in the call-in portion. So, hung out with the callers and went through a lot of that. With that, you guys should pop in for the next one. I really enjoyed it. A lot of callers last night, and I'd like to see that more often. But anyways, this is from the Idaho Tribune. New photos and videos have emerged of the Coeur d'Alene firefighter shooting suspect, Wes Rowley's TikTok account. According to these screenshots, Rowley was allegedly a brony, which is a boy interested in My Little Pony, and used the hashtag furry. Here's photos of him, which... he was a good-looking kid. Even the longer hair. It looked a little gay with the longer hair, but good-looking kid. A little weird to think this was a brony. And then here's another photo of him. Oh, this looks like when he was younger. So I guess he went through that weird, awkward phase, which, I don't know. I'm not going to put my kids on blast. I have a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old, but they go through some weird fucking phases. So, I don't know. He looks like he was, honestly, probably 12, 13, maybe 14 here. So I think this was a while ago. Here's another photo of him. Okay. And then here's another video that says my life revolves around her. And then here's some video. This is from 2022, it says, though. So to give it, that is 3 years ago, which I know that's not that long for us as adults, but this is a child. I don't know how old this kid is here. Once again, I would go, this is from 2022. I probably should look up. What's the name of this kid? Let's look up how old this guy is. Wes Rowley. I want to see how old he is or when this happened, because that'll kind of give me a better idea. Because I don't know, kids do change a lot. So let me see, find age. So all right. right, was 20. Okay, well, never mind. That takes away from it a little bit more. He was 20 at the time of the ambush. All right, so that's theoretically, then this is a 17-year-old. So nope, that changes my my analysis a little bit. All right, this is a 17-year-old at this time posting this weird brony shit. Okay. All right, to be fair, I guess we don't know for sure if this is them. We'll go into it more. It says this username for the account on TikTok, BRS, was linked to an account on a chess gaming website that had Rolly's name associated. So here we can see, so the username was linked to an account on a chess gaming. I mean, obviously you guys can go check this all out for yourself. I don't know. I mean, I'm a tech idiot, so this is their receipts. I have no idea if these are good receipts or not. You guys let me know. Then sent another screenshot from the shooter's alleged TikTok account was location set as Scottsdale, Arizona, a known location for Wes Rowley. So, okay. Looks like he's a troon. Not troon, I guess actually some weird. Here's actually something from Kyle, which I don't know. He glows a little bit, I know, but I don't know. Which makes me even more like, what? I don't know. This seems weird that this like immediate like, oh, he's a brony and here's all this gay, weird, lefty shit. But I don't know, especially when you know some of the other weird connections that we talked about last night. So that this stuff seems more contrived. But here's Kyle saying Idaho Tribune is reporting Wes Rowley had the following pics videos on his TikTok with furry and brony material. So a law enforcement source shared this from his mother's social media. The key change appears to be Fluttershy from the Equestria Girls, a My Little Pony offshoot series. Okay, all right. So shit, here's a bag of his. He has it. So, okay, I guess he really was about that life. All right, and here's Fluttershy, Applejack rarity, and that was the patch he had. All right, yeah, this dude's a fucking weirdo, I guess. I mean, I don't really know what to make of that. I mean, it does feel weird. The right's already latching onto this right off the jump. But I don't know, maybe it's legit. Maybe he's a fucking weirdo. I mean, the kind of guy who would do something like that is probably gonna be a fucking weirdo. So. All right, let's see. Let's roll the chat, see what you guys got to say. Weird, unstable kid gets bullied and lashes out. Yeah. School shooter that aged out. I don't know. I mean, they showed some photos where he looked like a well put together, pretty handsome looking guy. So it is kind of weird. I thought, and he looked younger in these photos, like the brony stuff. Like that looked like younger photos than some of the other shit where he looked more, I don't know, like his... more like a kind of a 20-year-old male kind of, whereas the little thing I showed you, I would have guessed he was like 14 or something in that one. So, and then you saw that one photo with him with the short hair, then he looks like he's like probably 20 in that one. It looks like a well put together, you know, I don't know. So weird stuff. So common weird kid shit, to be fair. It is weird kid shit. It just, I'm saying like, I don't know, something about the pictures and it just doesn't make sense to me. This seems like something, and as someone with kids, I don't know, I guess I don't have any boys, so it just seems like something they would have, a phase they would have gone through earlier, but I don't know. All right, let's go through the last story today. I don't know where this one will lead us, but this is from one of you guys, from one of the supporters of the show. This is, we're digging into whether old Trumpy Poo is the Moshiach. So here's the thread that old Mithril Velvet sent me down. Someone saying, what the fuck, to something something that 7C's said. I have no idea. Once again, this is a reactions show, so I don't know. Sometimes you guys send me schizo shit, and I try to interpret it live on the show, and it makes no sense. So let's see if this is it. Here's from 7C's. He's saying, this is Trump admitting that the Moshiach prophecy that No More News and I just talked about is exactly what he's doing on behalf of Kabad. Read the last paragraph, and he's quote tweeting this. He's quote tweeting this post. And here is someone says Trump sent a letter to the Lubavitcher Rebbe's resting place in Queens on the anniversary of his passing, calling him one of the most dynamic and influential faith leaders in modern history. I don't want to hear anymore that Kamala would have been just as bad. That's bullshit. Now, once again, I haven't read this letter, so I don't know what's in this letter. This could be complete, and I don't know. Maybe I'm not anointed enough to understand the symbolism of what this guy is about to be saying. So let's read it. So this was on June 29th, so it's just a few days ago. This is from the White House. It says, Washington, the Hull, Cambria Heights, New York. Dear rabbis of Chabad, Lubavitch, Melania and I are honored to send our greetings on the occasion of the Artzeit of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, of righteous memory to the Chabad Slushim and the millions inspired by him across our country and around the world. As I affirmed in my proclamation on Education and Sharing Day USA, the Rebbe was one of the most dynamic and influential faith leaders in modern history, helping launch a renaissance of Jewish faith in the dark days following the Holocaust. Among his many achievements, he was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal in recognition of his tremendous impact in our country. As time has worn on, his many blessings have only increased. His teachings were a core inspiration for criminal justice reform, as seen in the First Step Act, and the Chabad, Lubavitch rabbis and rebbetzins run a whole host of institutions, whether religious, educational, or social, that have a tremendous impact on American spiritual life. When I visited the Ohel on the anniversary of the terrible attacks of October 7th, I drew strength and inspiration from the Rebbe's legacy. When Edon Alexander was returned to his loving parents earlier this year, after an unimaginable ordeal in the hands of Hamas, the entire country felt the power of the Ohel and the Rebbe's enduring example. As is frequently cited in the Talmud, the Rebbe lived by the principle that when you save one life, you save an entire world. Through great strength, unflinching resolve, and much prayer, I am committing to restoring peace throughout the world, not least in the Middle East, as we witnessed over the past week, and to stamping out anti-Semitic hate wherever it rears its head. In doing this, we will restore our country to its tradition of greatness and usher in a new golden age for the entire world. This, I believe, is the Rebbe's legacy. I'm going to be real here. I'm not seeing whatever noited shit y'all are trying to get me to see. I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel I don't like this. This is creepy. This is weird. I'm just not seeing. I don't know. You guys let me know. What did I miss in Anti-Semitism 101 that I'm not picking up here? Don't get me wrong. I'm aware of the Chabad, how creepy they are. These are sketchy, borderline intel, weird cult. Like they're a weird sect of Judaism. They're weird. And then they're the ones who have this messianic Rebbe figure, the one who's kind of creepy because, as we've talked about with Sabbateans before on the show, the concept of messianic Jews and what that can mean sometimes is a little bit freaky, especially when you look at a historical example of like the 1600s and like the 13. I don't know. There was two different examples with Sabbateans. You had the Frank character, and then you had the original guy. I forget what his. Anyways, point being is it's a little bit sketchy. So, and then they treat this Schneerson character as if he's like the rab, and there's all this like there's all prophecy tied into it, and there's the idea of like, is he going to come back? And so I mean, like I might be missing something here, some sort of like prophecy component or something. So I know there's spooky, weird prophecy, odd shit, and it's but I'm just not picking up what's being put down here. So I don't know, maybe any of you guys are properly noited enough for that. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Either way, I guess it was instructive in how creepy this shit is. Gave you a little bit of a quick rundown, I guess, sort of, on what Shabbat is, while not really giving you a rundown at all. Just pointing out they're weird and creepy. And then they have the Rabbi Schneerson, who they like... They literally go. Well, I think it's like kind of like the Wall. Like so far as Jewish religious treks, especially political ones, Schneerson is like up there with the Wall, like visiting Schneerson's tomb. Like there's photos of Trump visiting Schneerson's tomb. So for those who aren't aware about that, that's a little bit weird. And this is essentially their Messiah. So and there's like all different variations of some people think he either never died or that he will come back or that he'll take on the form of someone else, or I don't fucking know. It makes no sense to me. But obviously there's an added component of there is in some messianic forms of Judaism, there was a weird component of like, oh, we're in messianic times or the Messiah here, and it has some sort of interplay with the law. Essentially the moral code. So you're like, well, what does that mean that you guys are saying your Messiah is here. What does that entail for you guys and your behavior? Does that change anything? I don't know. I'm not a Lubavitcher. But I don't know. You guys let me know. What am I missing here that's weird? So, all right, let's go with the chat, and I think we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Been a fun day with you guys. But let's roll through the chat, see what you guys got to say. Guys, what are you guys talking about? Roids in the chat now? What the fuck? Hell yeah, dude. Talking about not to advise intergenic use. Everything requires tests as a base unless you want to use SARMs. You might consider... Okay, I guess you guys are talking about doing gear. Hell yeah, dude. Get fucking roided. Just kidding. Laney says they're tunnel Jews. Yeah, I left out that part. Yeah, they're literally... I'm pretty sure that was the one where it happened. I think that was like the main location. That was like the big one. The one in New York is like the... Which is why it's kind of weird, like that where their Messiah is laid to rest is like in some weird-ass little Jew tunnel in New York. So, a little weird perspective on the Messiah. All right, guys, let's get out of here. About an hour and a half or so. We covered quite a lot of ground today. Don't be forgetting to tag me and stuff. Also, join the Telegram. That way, you guys can contribute to the conversation here. Bring articles and stuff. I don't even know what the fuck we're covering tomorrow. So, hey, tag me and stuff. Keep an eyes out there. Like I said, the Telegram came in handy today. I brought up a few different articles from you guys. So, I think it's having its use. So, I don't know. I'm looking forward to where this community goes and building this community. So, help me out with that. And ways you can help me out with that is you can leave a like, you can share, you can subscribe, you can leave a comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify. Any one of those actions, easy peasy, cost you nothing. Goes a long way. And surprisingly, not a lot of people do those sort of things, especially the reviews or even something as simple as comments or even likes. These things take you nothing. Just drop a like. I think it's the running. They say the rule of thumb is I think it's 10% of people hit the like button. So it's like that's trash. Hit the like button, people. So yeah, it doesn't cost you a thing. But if you do really like what I'm doing over here and you want to advance that, help a brother out, then go on over to patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. Give you access to the early episodes. And I do about 1 to 2 of those a week, sometimes even 3. And I've been shooting for about 4 behind the paywall at any given time, so you get weeks of paywall content. You also get access to an ad-free RSS feed and access to the pre-show and priority for the call-ins on me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, which is on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That's already dead. So join us there. That goes out on both of our platforms. Hang out with the homies. And then also, what else? What's in the perk? I feel like I'm forgetting a perk. Yeah, and then also, if you are the highest level of Patreon, I shout you out every episode. It's a big thank you. I have used to be my co-host in Tagging, at Tagging Toad, also at Abrogate D's, at COVRACK, at _Infasil, Tim Tuttle, at John Klebold, Will Bell's Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine, big fan of the show, Torme, and then Jordan Peterson. I remember what I was going to say. Follow me on Twitter, at TowerGangJose. That's where you guys can tag me and stuff. Also, like I said, the Telegram, but that's for supporters only. You got to give me money for that. Patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. But if you don't want to give me money, you can still just tag me and stuff. If you're on Twitter and you're like, oh shit, this would be great for the morning show, tag me. And I will almost certainly cover it at some point. So hook a brother up. It goes both ways. Be my eyes and ears out there. And we can kind of hang out. Elliot says, can I co-host? No, you cannot. I don't know. Maybe I'd be open to that. Give me money, perhaps. I think you did, though. Actually, you're a supporter. So, but with that, guys, we're out of here. Love you all. Deuces.